I used to think talented entrepreneurs were struggling because they weren't very good at marketing. But after 20 years, I've come to realize that something else is true. The real problem is expert entrepreneurs have a visibility problem. Hi, I'm Andrea Stenberg, and I believe the world needs more generous experts who are willing to be seen. So back in 2005, when I started my business, I started going out networking to promote myself. And I noticed something interesting. I kept meeting incredibly brilliant, talented entrepreneurs who were leaving well paying jobs to start their own business because they had a passion for helping people. They really wanted to make a difference in the world. But so many of them were struggling, not because they're not an expert. They were really good at what they did, and the clients they did have were getting amazing results. They were struggling because they weren't getting enough clients. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, these people are really good at what they do. They don't have a problem with their expertise. They have a problem with their visibility. Nobody knows they're there. So I want you to imagine there's somebody out there who has a problem. Let's call her Jane. And Jane really needs to find a solution to her problem. And she's tried everything she can think of. She's borrowed books from the library or bought them online. She's watched YouTube videos. She's spending a ton of time on Google, but she's just not getting anywhere. And she feels frustrated and she feels a little bit stupid because she can't solve this problem. And the thing of it is, what Jane doesn't know that there is somebody out there who could help her solve the problem quicker, faster, and easier. You, you're the one that can help Jane solve the problem. But the problem is Jane doesn't know you exist. And that's the thing with expert entrepreneurs is your clients can't hire you if they don't know you exist and they can't find you. So, over the past 20 years, I've seen this pattern repeat over and over again. People who are really good at what they do, but they're struggling to grow their business because they can't get enough clients. And it wasn't just that they weren't visible, that they were invisible, that they can't be found. I find a lot of experts are talking themselves out of being visible. And in fact, I call them reluctant experts. And the way they're talking themselves out of being more visible so people can find them is they're telling themselves some stories that aren't really true. One of the stories is, I need more expertise and more credentials. Once I get this one more certification or this other credential or this other degree, then I can go and start marketing myself because then I'll be qualified enough. Another story that they're telling themselves is, the expertise that I have, the skills that I have, the stuff that I know isn't really special. Everybody can do it. So why would anybody pay attention to me? Another thing reluctant experts do is tell themselves the story that if I talk about my business, if I make an offer, if I tell people how they can hire me, that I'm going to sound overly salesy and promotional and people will run away. Another story that experts tell themselves to talk themselves out of being more visible is the story that there's bigger experts in my field. There's best-selling authors, there's people with millions of followers on YouTube or Instagram. Why would anybody want to listen to me? Do any of those sound familiar? I bet they do. And so over the next few videos, I'm going to dive deeper into each of these stories that reluctant experts are telling themselves that are preventing them from being visible, being as visible as they need to be in order to have the impact they want to have. So, if any of these stories sounded at all familiar to you, do click the bell to get notified because I'm going to be sharing these stories and also how you can overcome them. So if you're a reluctant expert, I want to help you be as visible as you need to be so that you can have the impact you know you're capable of.